Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the new episode of Gut Check. I appreciate your support for the channel right now as I'm growing and figuring out what I'm doing. Let's get into today's topic. So today I'm going to be talking about basketball and mental health, specifically how getting into the sport over the past few years has really helped me with my depression and with my anxiety. So I didn't grow up playing basketball. I had trouble getting into the team sports when I was a kid for some reason. It never really clicked with me. Although I did end up playing some sports in high school because athletics were a big part of my high school system. So I did end up playing tennis there, and I was on the cross-country ski team. I was never a super athletic kid. I'm still not super athletic to this day. And then it's only been in the past few years where basketball has become a huge passion of mine. I actually first got into basketball by playing not the real thing, but fantasy basketball, which for those of you who don't know it, is a system where you get together with your friends and you draft real players in the NBA onto like a fantasy made up team on the internet. And every week your pretend team competes against another person's pretend team. There are a few different ways to do it, but basically the aim of the game is to have a team that performs better statistically than the other team you're playing that week. So I did that for a few years. I became a huge NBA nerd, got really into it. And even just before I was playing basketball, there was something even about following the NBA and like having this pretend team that would help me when I got depressed and anxious, because like basketball players are the coolest. And I think too, I mean, of course there is crossover between basketball and hip hop culture, and I listened to a lot of hip hop when I was in the hospital to soldier me through what I was going through. So I think in some ways there's some overlap between the two. Watching basketball would help me soldier through what I was going through. And it took me a while to get the courage to start playing the game. I don't have basketball training. Like I don't know any of the fundamentals. Also, even though I'm in pretty good shape physically as far as like muscle size goes and everything, my cardio has always been really bad and I get wiped out really easily, like just playing 5 minutes of basketball. Right now I work at a mental health hospital and I try and play there with my coworkers a few times a week. And I think it's interesting for me because there's something about working with a team and figuring out a system that is just really cool. And it even reminds me of this summer when I was reading The Body Keeps the Score, which I've talked about in other videos. There's a part of The Body Keeps the Score where he talks about how any team-driven activity, be it exercise in the form of a sport like basketball or soccer or football, what have you, or if it's something like dance, anything where there's a synchronicity of movement between a group of people, there's something really powerful about that for your mental health. I'm certainly finding that as I start playing more and more basketball, it's making me more confident, but it totally helps with manage my depression and anxiety, especially in the winter. I live in Montreal where it gets really freaking cold every year. So it's nice to have that thing to do after work with other people that helps keep me in shape, not only physically, but mentally. And so, yeah, one other thing I know, I mentioned the NBA. I didn't grow up following any team. I mean, I'm from a small town in New Hampshire, and most people from my town are Celtics fans. I do like the Celtics. They're probably my second favorite team. At first, I would really only follow sports through my made up fantasy team. I didn't have like a one strong team that I followed, but over the years I've become a fan of the Philadelphia 76ers, and one reason why is because they've had this one player named Joel Embiid, who, for those of you who don't know, is an all-star this year. He just got voted into the all-star game, but he was unable to play the first couple of years he was in the NBA due to injury. He was out for 2 years, I believe. Also, Philadelphia has this thing where they've been one of the worst teams in the league for a few years. They did this thing where they purposely tanked, meaning they lost games intentionally for a few years so they could stockpile draft picks. And this whole process is something that Joel Embiid has turned into a slogan that the team and its followers use right now, and it's called Trust the Process. And for me, when I heard about that, I was able to take that and apply it to my own health struggles. I even have a huge poster in my apartment of Joel Embiid. There's just something really comforting about the slogan, trust the process, where you want to believe in what you're doing. And it's certainly helped me keep up. Even just starting this project, just trusting the process behind it, seeing how it unfolds. So Joel Embiid, if you're watching this, I really appreciate you for coming up with that slogan. It's really helped me through some dark times. So that's what I have to say about basketball and mental health. If any of you out there watching have had a similar experience where a sport has really helped you with your mental health, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. That's all I have for today. I will talk to you on Sunday.